Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. And again, we're going to work our way through dollar yields, precious metals, commodities, and ETFs that I follow. Got through that pretty quick though. I'm going to give you my financial opinions across the board. And if you guys need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. This is where I go over individual companies. I can answer questions that you guys have. It is highly important to figure out how this stuff interconnects together, to give you the confidence, to give you um, the abilities to ride through some of these ups and downs and to get multi-baggers under your belt. Multi-baggers are 100, 200, 300, 400, 10, 1,000% gains, or maybe even 3,000, 4,000, 5,000% gains are possible. And I have some of those in my portfolio. So let's dive in. Let's take a look and see what is going on here. We've got the dollar. And again, this is short term. My investment strategies aren't for short term market movements, but we do look at this, and a lot of people like the daily updates. Bigger selling pressure, a weaker bounce, and that generally works its way lower. We are working our way lower today. And again, this is being driven by monetary tightness of the dollar versus monetary tightness of other currencies that are being compared against the dollar. So we're heading lower. Generally speaking, we're going to see weaker yields with that lower dollar. Weaker yields, lower dollar, generally a tailwind behind precious metals. That doesn't mean 100% of the time, but it does mean a vast majority, 90+%. So we look at the 2-year yield. We're pulling back a little bit. Is this the beginning of a pullback? I don't know yet. This isn't a gigantic, selling. I should say, it's not a gigantic buying pressure day. When yields go down, that means people are buying bonds. We had a big move here, and that's generally kind of the first impulse move. It's like you get hit on the head, boom. It lags around a little bit, and then eventually kind of rolls itself over, where the demand for bonds goes up and the yields go down. I don't see that characteristic yet in the candlesticks. So we're kind of in the no man's land saying, we got to wait and see what the market is going to do. The 10-year is getting a little bit more selling pressure. And again, we get larger selling pressure days. You get kind of like a little bit of a flag pattern deal going on. And then are we going to break to the downside? Again, that's premature to state that, but let's just wait and see. Let's see what comes tomorrow or the day after tomorrow and how forceful that move is. TYX also down a little bit, but again, this still doesn't look bad. Still looks like we are working our way higher with yields on both of these. So we're going to wait and see. Let's see what happens. And then we get a little bit more granularity here with the charts. TYX TNX ratio coming back up. That is bullish for gold, silver, and precious metals. If we back out, we are at a very low point. We've done a breakout, a retest, and then I think we could go higher. What does that mean? It means higher precious metals. It means potentially higher commodities because you're going to see that dollar come off if yields come back. It's where we are in the commodity bull market, where we are in the real estate market, all that stuff. So that is what we're looking for. I'm looking for a move higher. That is going to be a tailwind behind precious metals. TLT, where I think TLT may go, we could go higher here if yields back off. Why do I think that? Well, we're basically playing with the trend line here. All right. And what I'm looking for is a break of this trend line. Are we going to break this to the upside? We're squeezing up. I think that's a possible case. Bigger picture view, what I think is going to happen is that we're going to come back up, then roll back over. That seems to be the likelihood. What does that mean? It means that we could see a slowdown in the markets, potentially. Looking at gold, we're up $8 an ounce. I think gold still looks really good. We've got good buying pressure all through here, small little selling pressure. It's holding together. We're above support. That's the blue lines underneath us. We've broken out of the falling wedge. We could still head higher. Does that mean it will 100% go higher? No, it doesn't mean that. We still need yields to fall. We still need the dollar to kind of turn over, and that is not in the bag yet. We don't have that momentum behind it yet. Silver heading up higher, up 1.06%. I think it's looking quite strong. Looks very strong, in fact. We've got this blue line, which is a trend line, and we are breaking that trend line on a monthly candlestick basis. So we're getting close to the end of this month. We're going to probably close out this month strong, and we're going to have a monthly close above the trend line. I think that we could potentially head higher. Grind on higher, maybe it rockets higher. I don't know what the path will necessarily be, but it looks good. Platinum flat today. And again, platinum is just kind of moving sideways here. Big buying pressure, a little bit smaller selling pressure. We'll see if we have one last little hiccup before heading higher, but it's looking okay. XAU to gold ratio down a little bit, where XAU is underperforming gold in the markets. But again, I think this looks good to try to break this downtrend line. Why is this downtrend line so important? We are breaking the downtrend for gold and silver mining companies to underperform gold. So we will go into an outperformance of gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. Generally speaking, and I know I speak in generalities a lot, gold and silver mining companies generally outperform in the beginning of commodity bull markets. It means that we are still young if we get a break here. And then hopefully we rip and gold and silver mining companies pad our pockets with cash. CRB index still looking fantastic. We've got a little bit of a bloody nose today, small down day, nothing really to worry about, and everything still looks good on the weekly perspective. CRB to S&P 500 still looking strong. Had a little down day today. Are we going to get a retest move where we go down and come back up? It's probably likely, but it looks good. Still looks good. GDX down a little bit today. Again, it's maybe a little bloody nose there. GDXJ, same thing. SILJ, it's all the same. I still think we are going to work our way higher if we get the DXY to come off and those yields to drop. If we get that and the TYX TNX ratio, the curve uninverts, we are going to the promised land. We have the patterns, they're set up. We're lubed for this to happen, but it has to still happen. Crude oil down a little bit, down 0.88%. Small little down day. That's just a continuation. I think we're moving higher still. Everything still looks good to move on up. I don't see a reversal candlestick. We're sitting on top of support. Looks beautiful. Natural gas down a little bit. Remember, natural gas still has to get through, but we've got lots of warm weather. We're sucking down the natural gas for air conditioning and electricity generation. Still looks good. We've got a breakout, and maybe we get the retest and we head higher, hopefully. Again, we'll watch it over the coming days here, and I'll make my opinions as we track out more candlesticks. XOP, pretty strong on a down day for oil. I like it. I still think this looks good to go higher. We've broken the downtrend lines. Everything looks good. Now, is this an inverted shoulder head shoulder that we are basically going to break? If that's the case and we break the neckline, high five, guys, we are going to be moving. But that is yet to happen. We've broken the intermediate short-term pattern that is very short-term, and we're working our way on scribing out that larger pattern. OIH, energy service companies. I like where we're sitting. We're on top of support. Does that mean that we're just going to rock it? It's possible. Depends what oil does. We could also go sideways for a little bit if it decides to do that. Again, I don't know the path, but I can tell you it looks really good. So OIH looking fantastic. Uranium, low bloody nose today. Do not worry. Momentum still to the upside. I think we're still looking to move on up. URA, a little bit of selling pressure. Again, we just have a little bit of resistance here. Let's break this sucker. Let's get moving. Still looks good. URNM, same spot, right at resistance. Everything still looks in check. We look good. The flight is still good to go. And URNJ, still looking good. Looks like we're kind of squeezing up here. Let it squeeze, let it rest and squeeze before we hit it. TAN getting a little bit more selling pressure. Where is this thing going? It gapped down with the momentum going up. A little bit confusing there. And there we are just moving sideways here. We're in the dead period forever. And I think it'll eventually work its way higher. COPX down a little bit, down 0.8%. Again, it's not a reversal candlestick. We've got our nice little flag pattern there. We've broken to the upside. And I do think we will continue higher in COPX most likely. We'll look at copper and what copper's doing next. Lithium moving on up. I think we're going higher here, sitting on top of a big old pattern. We're gonna drift on up. We're gonna grind higher. REMX, same thing. We've got our pattern there. I think we're gonna grind on higher. S&P 500 slightly lower. Is this a topping pattern? No. Let's get some more candlesticks. If we throw a big bearish engulfing, then I'll say yes, it is a topping pattern for sure. But it can still go either way. And same with the U.S. Composite Index. Looks like we're just moving sideways. Not a huge bounce here, so it's not really bullish, but it's not entirely bearish either. So it could be a continuation pattern that we are forming. We'll have to see where we break. Emerging markets, bullish engulfing, bullish, ready to go higher. This is also confirmation that the DXY might be heading lower. People would position in emerging markets if the dollar were to go lower. Emerging markets look fantastic from a longer term viewpoint. I think we are going much, much, much higher. Looking at XHB, we're still holding in there. Are we going to break this kind of all-time high and get up there? It is possible. We are slowing down. We are encountering some resistance as we get to this high up here. Lock and loaded. We may even do a little detour of a little loop. What does that mean? That's kind of basically a cup and handle pattern, perhaps. Just be patient here. Let it do its thing. Can't do anything otherwise than that anyway. Moo also moving higher, barely. This is your fertilizer, agricultural stocks. They look really good. Look at all those green candlesticks on the right-hand side there. We are due for a pullback, so just patience here, guys. Patience. Copper, right up against resistance. We got a little bloody nose today. I do think we are set to break higher. I don't see any reversal candlesticks. I don't see large, fat selling pressure candlesticks. To me, it looks like we are going on up when we break out of here. We could see a big move in some of these diversified mining companies and in copper when we finally break out of this pattern. Iron ore, moving sideways. Looks fantastic. We're just going to break here. Again, I think that's going to be bullish for dry bulk shipping. Nickel up a little bit today, 2.5%, right at support. We'll see if it holds. Aluminum down. We're down 1.26%. Again, we are probably scribing out some sort of pattern. Let it work its way out, unkink itself, and then maybe we can run. But it's going to take a little bit of time, I think. Baltic Dry Index still just moving sideways. Again, I'm looking for a move higher in the Baltic with some time. Newcastle Coal, I don't think this is updated. I saw this one yesterday. But either way, we're going to kind of sit around this general location and base out. And then I think we will eventually turn and move on up. Remember, dry bulk shipping, coal futures are interconnected. We are in an energy crisis. We're going to be shipping more things around, in my opinion, at some point. BTC moving up 0.92%. Again, this is a tough read here, guys. We've got a little bit of selling pressure here. The buyers are coming back, but it's not exactly a strong showing for the buyers. So again, let's see where we go with this. Give it some more time. Ethereum also, it looks okay. I can't say it's the strongest looking chart in the world, but maybe we've got a little bit of this going on. But just let's see where we'll go. I still am bullish on both of these. I don't have any positions in it. I'm just kind of neutral with it, but it doesn't look super strong on the monthlies. On the weeklies, it still looks all right. And on the dailies, it looks a little bit confused because we still get these fat selling pressure days kind of all throughout the mix. So we'll see where we go. I don't have a clear direction on on Bitcoin at this exact moment. But that's what I'm seeing in the markets, guys. I'd say overall commodities look pretty strong. Dollar looks weak. Yields look weak. I think precious metals look pretty good. So overall, they look pretty good. I like it. I like it. And hopefully copper breaks out to the upside here. More juice to that squeeze. That's what I'll say for economic. Usually Dr. Copper's an economic strengthening. Could be inflation that we're seeing. And maybe we get that surge to the upside here at any second. So that's what I've got for today. We do have a platinum midweek update being released here. I'll do that and tape that here shortly. Give you guys an overall update of the individual sectors and the companies themselves and what I would be doing and what I would be positioning and my favorite companies and why I think they're my favorite companies. But yeah, that's what I've got. Thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you like. And we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.